read a statement that I read to every single case that I'm required to. When I'm done reading that statement, I'm going to hand the case over to Miss Alexis Enlow. She's your case manager. She'll get your name, spellings, swear you in, and then we'll get started with the hearing. So good morning and welcome to the Philadelphia Fair Housing Commission. My name is Allie DeMedeiros. I am the attorney for the Fair Housing Commissioners. Also present today from the Fair Housing Commission is Miss Alexis Enlow, who's your case manager. You'll also see Miss Jomaris Omida Castro, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Castro Almeida. She runs our Zoom hearings for us. Before we get started, I'm required to go over a few things with you. First, you are being recorded. We record all our hearings. By remaining on the line and participating in the hearing, you are consenting to be recorded. Our Zoom hearings have the same force and effect as if we were in person. The only difference is on Zoom, we do not have a court reporter. In the event either party wants to appeal a final order of this commission, you can reach out to me or Ms. Enlow, the case manager, and we'll get you a copy of the video recording. Please be mindful of what you're saying and doing because it is being recorded. Second, at 10 o'clock this morning, the commissioners and myself, the attorney, met in a private executive session to discuss the day's cases. We do that every hearing day with every case. Third, the parties had the opportunity to submit documents. I have the submitted documents saved on my computer and can share them with everyone on the screen. Please keep in mind that the commission generally only reviews the very basic documents in a case prior to a hearing. If you would like a document reviewed by the commission, please reference it by name, date, or description so that I can post it on the screen for everyone to look at the same time. Lastly, during the course of today's hearing, it might be necessary for the commissioners to speak privately to make decisions in this matter. If they need to do that, they'll invite you to join separate rooms divided by party called breakout rooms. A prompt will come on your screen at the appropriate moment asking you if you would like to join a breakout room. We will direct you to click join when you see that prompt. Once in the breakout room, please remain in the room. We will never end a hearing when you are in a separate room. Please make sure you're back in this main room and that a commissioner or staff member dismisses you before you log off or hang up. Thank you very much for listening. With that, I'm going to hand the case over to Ms. Enlow to get your names and spellings and swear you in. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is the matter of Janita Austin versus Ebony Jimerson and Brian Earl. This is the first fair housing hearing for this matter. The docket number is 2024-10-31-19049. At this time, beginning with the tenant, can you please state and then spell your first and last name slowly and clearly for the record?
My name is Janita Austin. First name Janita, Gennita. Last name Austin, Austin.
Thank you. Landlords, can you please state and spell your first and last name slowly and clearly for the record?
Hi, I'm Ebony Jimerson. First name Ebony, Ebone. Last name Jimerson, Jimerson.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is Brian Earl. First name Brian, Brian. Last name Earl, Earle.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to swear the parties in. Can you please all raise your right hands? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Austin?
Yes.
Thank you. The commission has 3 rules for today's hearing. First, do not speak over or interrupt each other, and do not speak over or interrupt the commissioners. Each party will have an opportunity to give testimony and present evidence. Second, please do not use generic phrases such as he or she. When you refer to an individual, please use the tenant, the landlord, or their name to keep the record clear. And third, when giving a date, please give a complete date that includes the year each time. The commissioners present today are Commissioner Brunson, Commissioner Baez, and Commissioner Sang. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. Good morning and welcome to the Fair Housing Commission. We're going to start with the tenant because she's the one who filed the complaint. Ms. Austin, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some preliminary questions and then we'll get to why you filed a complaint with the Fair Housing Commission. First, can you confirm the address that you filed this complaint for?
Yes, that's 5083 F Street. F as in Frank Street. Apartment B.
Full city and state, please.
I wasn't done. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19124.
Okay, thank you. And you filed this complaint on October 31st, 2024, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At any time during your tenancy, from the time that you moved in, did you receive a document stated called a CRS?
I'm sorry, can you explain it?
It's a document with the Partners for Good Housing and the certificate for renter suitability, sorry.
No, I never received the rental suitability.
Okay, and at any time that since you moved in, did you receive a lead safe or lead free certificate?
I did. It was in my lease.
You did receive the lead certificate?
Yes.
Okay. And can you confirm what your move-in date was?
My move-in date was for May 1st. I signed my lease on April the 26th. I received the keys on April the 27th.
Okay, but your move-in date was May 1st.
All right.
Okay. And can you confirm what your rent is?
1,300.
And has been that amount the whole time that you've been there?
Correct.
And what type of lease do you have?
It's monthly.
It's a month-to-month lease.
Correct.
Okay. And did you pay a security deposit when you moved in?
Yes, ma'am. I paid 2 months security deposit.
Okay, so $2,600?
Yes, I paid first month, last month, and 2 months security. I paid a total of 5,200.
5,200. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said first, last, and 2 months for security.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. Okay. And when is the last time you paid rent?
Last time I paid rent was November the 1st was the last time I paid rent.
November the 1st. And was that for the month of November?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so as we talk today, you owe for December, January, and now February. Is that correct?
Yes, my money is in escrow. I also sent it to Miss Jemerson as well via text message, indicating that the rent will be in escrow.
Okay. So you informed the landlord that you would be withholding rent before you started withholding. Is that correct?
Yes, I informed the landlord that I would be withholding rent. And when I did inform her, it was basically like made a mockery. And it was like, yeah, your money's in escrow, so you say.
Okay.
So I actually sent her a screenshot of my account that I had the money put in escrow.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you. And so we received that you received a notice to vacate. Do you know when you received that notice to vacate?
I received that notice to vacate. It was I believe it was December the 11th, 2024.
December. Was that a formal document? Was it text? Was it a call? How did you receive it?
When I got home from work, I actually seen a letter on my door.
Okay.
And when I also reached out to Ebony Jemison in reference to the letter. She then indicated that I changed locks on the door, which I never changed locks.
Did you provide the Fair Housing Commission with that letter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so you listed a number of things that that you filed a complaint for. You can start discussing those things now.
Yeah, so when I first moved into the property, I did inform Mr. Brian Earl that there were some things that wasn't correct in my unit. He then told me, well,
Oh,
sister,
I'm sorry, Ms. Austin, before you
I'm
begin, I'm
sorry,
sorry.
was
No, no,
that?
no, no, you're fine. I just want to make sure that when you're telling me about the things that you complained about, that you give us as complete date as possible
Okay,
and then address whether they were fixed or not.
okay. Can I proceed?
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. So I basically told Mr. Earl, I don't exactly know the precise date, but I do know it was within the first week of me actually moving into the premises.
Mhm.
I did let him know it was a couple things that were alarming to me. I'm sorry, Mr. Earl then told me, well, sister, um, if you didn't like the unit, you shouldn't have moved in it. So I'm like, well, these were, things that wasn't noticeable to me until the
Oh,
time of moving
okay,
in.
you have to tell us exactly what it was that
I wasn't done.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So basically one of the main issues was the fact that my front door, when you walk in the door, you had to use a key to for the deadbolt lock. On the
Mhm.
top lock, you had to use a key from the inside or the outside in order to put the lock on. So I did explain to Mr. Brian Earl that that is in fact a fire hazard because in the event of an emergency, I would have to look for my keys. Instead of vacating the premises, I would have to look for my keys to unlock the top lock in the event of a fire. Mr. Earl then told me, well, um, I'll make sure that gets handled. That never was handled. Um, in April, oh no, it was August, the end of August, I happened to be, I'm sorry.
There's just some background noise, Miss Austin, you can keep going.
Okay, thank you. So in the end of August, I actually was home one day and I'm doing dishes, and I noticed a overflow of water. When I looked to try to assess what the issue was coming from, you were able to see that the piping under the sink was installed very poorly, and the back panel of the sink was, full with mold and things like that, which was causing all the issues. I did say something about that as well. When asked, can it get fixed? They told me that a contractor will be out there. However, I also indicated that I would like a licensed contractor. That way, that I know there's some type of liability. I was told that the contractor was licensed. When the contractor arrived to my unit and I asked for a license information, the contractor then indicated they're not licensed, but they know what they're doing. So that was also very alarming as well, due to the fact that the contractor got there like on my way out the door to go to work. So it's like I was uncomfortable with you just being in my unit. I don't have anything to verify who you are or whatever the case may be.
And this all happened at the same time?
This happened in August, the end of August.
Okay, that was August. Okay, what else did you report to your landlord that you needed to have repaired?
I did. I reported to them. So they actually end up sending a plumber out, and the plumber came. They looked at it, and then they left. So asking them, you looked at it and you left. They're like, well, the landlord told us just to go there and see if we see water pouring from the pipe. If there's no water pouring, then we can just go ahead and leave. So nothing was done with the whole incident. And it's like numerous times me and my son had to actually connect the pipe back and like try to use excessive force to keep the pipe from falling down. But that never was finished as well.
Okay.
I mean,
Your complaint also mentioned exposed wiring.
yes, ma'am.
Did you report that to your landlord?
I did report it to my landlord
When
as
did you
well.
when did you do that?
Um, I actually contacted the landlord in reference to that, and I was asking what was the issue with the wiring. And I was also told again, sister, if you did not like the unit, you should not have taken it.
Okay. Do you know when you contacted him?
I actually spoken to someone in October, early October. The reason I did basically mention that early October is due to the fact that LNI came out October the 1st
Mm-hmm.
to basically do a what is it? To basically look around, and basically the inspector came by the name of Audrey Smith. She basically was able to, locate different violations that was in the unit, and she also pointed that out as well, and also alarmed me to be completely careful due to the fact that the wiring that was hanging out of the heating vents, they can also be, some type of, she did in fact say it was a hazard. So I did say something, but that also wasn't an issue on their end.
Okay. Um, are there any other repairs that you reported to the landlord? Whether they addressed it or not, are there any other issues that you reported?
Yes, it was a piece of a wall, like coming from the living room to like the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I actually noticed that it was like a debris on the bottom of like on the floor, and I'm trying to figure out where it was coming from. Well, what it was is whoever was responsible for fixing a hole that was there prior to me moving in, instead of them spackling it and doing it the correct way, it was like it looks like it's a trash bag just stuffed there and they painted over it.
Okay.
So that paint just fell out or whatever the case may be. So it's like it looks like a hole, but it's not actually a hole. It's just basically showing off the trash bag or contractor bag that's on the wall.
Okay. Do any other commissioners have questions for the tenant?
No, I don't. Thank you.
No, no question.
Okay. All right, Miss Austin, if you have given us all of the repairs that you or all of the issues that you've had with your landlord, we're going to move on to the landlord to hear their testimony.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Jimerson, are you going to be speaking for the landlord?
Yes, I can speak first, and then Brian Earl can go subsequently.
Okay.
I'm the property owner. Brian Earl acts as the managing landlord of the property. So he is kind of the first point of contact when it comes to our tenants.
Okay.
I began speaking to Janita in July. She had reached out to Brian Earl, basically asking for my number because for some reason she felt
September.
Mi-
I have the documents proving it was July. In July, she reached out to me and told me that she did not want to speak to Brian Earl
Please
because
provide the document.
Miss Austin, you cannot talk while Ms. Jimerson is talking. You had your chance
Miss
to talk.
Jimerson is not being honest. I've never spoken
Ms.
to her.
Austin, you'll have a chance to rebut, but you cannot speak while Ms. Jimerson is speaking. This is her
Correct.
turn to speak.
That's fine. She's
yes.
lying.
So again, she got my number in July. She reached out to me via telephone. She expressed to me that she had some repairs that she wanted repaired, and the communications were not getting back to me from Brian Earl. I asked her to please communicate those repairs to me so we could work something out, and if she could pay her rent, because I believe her rent was late for that month. And I told her that if she had any concerns concerning the property and she felt uncomfortable speaking to Brian Earl, that I could be her direct point of contact from that point on. I gave her
Okay, Ms. Jimerson, before you continue, I have a few questions for you. Ms. Austin stated that she paid rent up until, I believe she said it was November. Is that accurate?
No, that is not. The last rent payment I received from her was October 3rd, and that was for the month of October. She
Oh.
owed a late fee for September, a late fee for October, the full month of November and late fee, full month of December and late fee, full month of January and late fee, and now February.
Okay. All right, you can continue.
Yes, from that point on, first she tried to, this is July 2nd was the day she called me, actually, and she accused us of being a illegitimate company. I told her that if she had any, ill feelings about the company, that she could look up the LLC, that she could start paying, I believe she was paying Cash App before, and I told her if she felt uncomfortable paying that way, if it was more convenient for her, she could make direct deposits into our corporate account with TD Bank. I gave her all of the details for that bank account. From that point on, she was a good tenant up until I believe maybe like September, October. She began not paying her rent, paying her rent late. I continuously told her, you know, rent is due. She would block my phone number, hang up on me, tell me to stop texting her phone. I asked her what is the best way to communicate with her. She told me during business hours. I started restricting my calls and text messages in between the hours of 9 to 5. She would call and she would text me back, oh, I'm working. Do not text this phone. She has called me out of my name. She has threatened me and coworkers of mine and employees of mine that I have working for the company. She has had issues with a leak under her sink, but it is stated in her lease that they are responsible for leaks unless for emergency purposes where it is flowing water. It also is stated in her lease that she is responsible for holding insurance, renter's insurance for any property damage from anything that happens in that unit, because she also asked us to pay for belongings that were ruined from some type of water leak.
Okay, Ms. Jimerson, before you continue, I want to ask about two specific things. She said that there is a front door with a lock that she has to use a key to get out of, and she's concerned that it's a fire hazard. Did she express that to you all?
No, she did not to myself. And that's where there's a little bit of a discrepancy, because from that point of July 2nd, as I expressed to her, because of her concerns of whatever they have might been against Brian Earl, she told me she did not want to speak to him. From that point forward, I thought that all communications were becoming to me. However, according to both him and her, that she was still speaking to him and going back and forth and speaking between both parties, which was a little confusing because she would tell him one thing and then tell me another thing. And it just wasn't very consistent on what she told me.
Okay, and then I have one more thing. The exposed wiring, she said that she let you all know about that in October.
No, the only way I knew about the exposed wiring is when I received the L&I report, which was also unclear on where the exposed wiring was because it doesn't give great detail. But since then, I have tried to address all L&I reports in both units because it's a duplex, and all of the L&I violations have been addressed and repaired in the first floor unit. However,
you have, I'm sorry, so for the B unit, so that, because that's what we're here for, have those items been addressed and repaired?
Janita has restricted us access from entering her unit. She has not answered the phone. She has not texted back. She has blocked me. And at the times when I can get communication with her, she has told us that she does not want the contractor in her home. She told us, and I believe she submitted this as evidence. If not, I can submit it as evidence. She texted both Brian Earl and myself in a group text message and told us that she was reaching out to L&I to receive a specific date and time in which we can access the unit to make all repairs. Until then, she did not want any repairs addressed or any kind of contractor to enter her unit.
Okay, and then I have a question about the certificate for rental suitability. Did you provide that to Ms. Austin?
So Brian Earl is the one who gave her the lease to sign. He was the one that she originally had contact with when she moved in. And I do not believe that the rental suitability certificate was included in her lease. No, I did speak to him about that.
Okay, so let me talk to Mr. Earl, because it seems like he had contact with her before you did. So let me speak to Mr. Earl. You're on mute, Mr. Earl.
All right, there we go. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I need to ask about the certificate for rental suitability. Was that provided to Ms. Austin?
No.
Okay. And then the other thing is, as far as the deposits, can you confirm what she paid when she moved in?
Okay, sure, absolutely. Just bear with me one moment. I'm trying to get something to set my phone up on so it can stay up so I can go over it with you guys. Just bear with me one moment. All right, I'm gonna just have to hold my phone up. I came into the conference room so I can take the call. All right. So when the tenant moved in, she provided first month, last month, and 2 months security to move into the unit.
So 5,200 is accurate. Mr. Earl, can you hear me?
You might be having a Wi-Fi issue.
Um,
Camera, that might help.
yes, yes, that is accurate. So, just going back, when I first met the tenant was on.
Wait, so, because I don't think we got it on record. You said first month, last month, and 2
Yes.
months of security.
Yes,
So
I can
that was
hear you. Can you hear me?
$5,200. That is accurate, $5,200.
Yes, that is
Okay,
correct. All right,
great.
all right. So, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I first met with the tenant on April 25th, 2024 to show her the unit. We went through every room, to make sure that it was, to her liking, if she was interested in moving into the unit, which she was okay with it. So we met again on April 26th, 2024 to sign the lease. So again, walk through, double check the unit. I told her, listen, if you want to go ahead and take any pictures of the unit, go ahead and feel free to do so. So that was done. We got everything completed, taken care of. So on April 27th, now mind you, her moving date was May 1st. She explained to me that she had a little situation going on, and she wanted to know if
Mr.
she
Earl,
could.
we don't have to get into all of that. I just
Okay,
kind of
that's
want to go
allowed.
over.
no problem.
I
All
just
right,
want to
so
go over the things that she said needed to be repaired and whether or
okay,
not they were
yeah, no
addressed.
problem. Thank you. So the first complaint came in on April 27th. She notified me that there was no shower head and the hot water wasn't working. Uh, went and met her at the unit. Got that all taken care of on April 28th. Let me just review my notes. Yeah, so she informed me on the 27th. I believe that was on a weekend. So that following date, April 28th, I had a contractor come out and fix the shower head, and we replaced the hot water tank. We didn't know that there was an issue with the hot water tank because the unit was empty for a while. So immediately we replaced the hot water tank. So that was the first time she notified us of any issues that she had. The second time, April 29th.
So, Mr. Earl, those things
Yeah.
are not in Miss Austin's complaint, so we don't even have to address those. I'm specifically wanting to know about the front door lock, when she informed you of that, and what was done to address it.
I
And
was
go
okay.
ahead.
Never was informed about an issue with the front door lock.
Okay. And then August, or she said that she addressed something in August with you with the plumbing. Mr. Earl.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm going through all my notes that
Yeah,
I
I
took
can
down
attest
from
to
my
that.
text messages that I received from the tenant about any time there was an issue. And at that point, she was dealing with Ebony Jimerson.
Okay, so August, that was you, Ms. Jimerson, when I believe it was the kitchen sink that she informed you all of.
Yes, I was notified of that as well. Yep, that is when she had reached out. She had reached out to me and basically asked for money for her. Oh, she said that she didn't want to pay rent because that she would like money reimbursed for things that were damaged from a water leak under her sink. And I believe the water leak at the time she had contacted me had already been repaired.
Okay,
And
and then and we already discussed the exposed wiring.
The exposed wiring, yeah, the exposed wiring in the door, I know for myself and both Brian and Earl who just said they were not brought to our attention ever by her. They were only brought to our attention through the L&I report. I
Okay.
will also say in reference to any repairs upon move-in that we do give all tenants a certain limitation of dates. Like, hey, if there's anything alarming upon move-in, please let us know by this date so that that can be repaired.
That's a lie.
Okay, and the last thing I want to ask about is the notice to vacate. Can you confirm when you sent that to her?
Again, it was never a notice to vacate. What I posted on her door was a notice of diversion rights paper, which I downloaded like any other landlord from government city website. And I posted it on her door so that she was aware of her rights because I was seeking to evict.
Okay, so as we sit here today, have you sent her any notice to vacate or notice to quit?
No, I have not. There has never been an official notice to vacate. I have sent text message that she was negligent this many months of rent, and that if she were not to pay, then I would move forward in the eviction process. Since then, that is when I put the diversion rights notice on her door, and I was pursuing that.
Okay. Do any other commissioners have any questions?
No, thank you.
No, no question.
Okay, we're gonna hear from Ms. Austin. Ms. Austin, you can speak and give us any information that you feel we have not already heard. And then and you can wrap up your case, and then we'll hear from Ms. Jimerson and Mr. Earls to wrap up their side.
Okay. So and the when I paid rent on June the 1st, no, July 1st, Mr. Brian Earl indicated that he will be stepping down from being a property manager, that he will no longer be operating. He and Mr. Brian Earl indicated that it was beginning to be too much of a headache, and he has another job that he has to tend to, and he was only stepping in for his daughter, Ebony Jimerson, as well as his son, Brian Earl Sr. Um, so that was the only reason that he basically told me to reach out to Ebony. No, matter of fact, he told me that I'll receive something in the mail indicating who the new property manager is. I've never received something in the mail. So, upon that, also, I did get the information from another tenant in the building, and they actually gave me the information to reach out to Ebony Jimerson. Reason being, when I initially started paying my rent, I was paying cash to Mr. Brian Earl, not Cash App. And I received receipts as well. Also, I do want to touch bases that Ms. Jimerson indicated that when she spoke to me in the month of July, that my rent was late. However, when she also gave her testimony, she also indicated that rent was paid okay up until September. So it's one or the other. Also, the issue that I'm having with this as well is the fact that your timeline is not adding up at all. Um, yeah, at all. The only time that I stopped paying rent was the month of November. I stopped paying rent from the month of November due to the fact that I've already reached out to Fair Housing. I already had L&I come out. L&I came out on the 1st of October. None of the issues with the property as far as the violations weren't attempted to be addressed until the first week of December. Ebony Jimerson was not blocked off of my phone until the second week of December when that letter went on my door. Once I reached out to Ebony Jimerson in reference to the letter, Ebony Jimerson indicated that she's trying to get me out of the property due to the fact that I illegally changed locks on the door, and that is illegal. I also reached out to because I was very upset because I called my mother as well. And I explained it to her. She's like, well, you didn't change locks, so relax. Reach out to the guy who you initially rented from, which was Mr. Brian Earl. I also provided in the evidence that you have in front of you a text message thread from myself as well as Mr. Brian Earl. And he's also, I'm sorry, no he, but Brian Earl's also indicating that Ebony is giving false information. Brian Earl indicated that Ebony must have had old keys to the residence, and that's why she's insinuating that the keys does not work. And Mr. Earl also apologized to me for the allegations due to the simple fact that she was not honest with her statement of basically lying to me, telling me that I changed locks. So that was an issue.
Okay, Ms. Austin, I think we've heard everything that we need to
I
hear.
understand, but I wanted to touch base because I kept being silenced when I tried to interrupt. But the thing about
Right,
it is, I'm not a
because
liar.
we're only here to discuss the issues of the repairs. We don't need any other extra stuff. But the one question I do have for you is, have you been denying access to your apartment for the repairs to be made?
So I received a phone call in the second week of December, from LNI. They actually asked me were any of the repairs done or addressed it. I indicated that they were not. Um, I received a text message. You have that evidence as well from their contractor who also indicated that he's not licensed. The man's name is Jeffrey. Jeffrey contacted me and told me on December 31st, which was New Year's Eve. Well, no, he contacted me December 30th, the day prior to New Year's Eve, indicating that I will be at the unit at 11 a.m. I said, okay, that's fine. We fast forward to New Year's Eve. The time that he was supposed to arrive was 11 o'clock. Nothing happened. I reached out to Mr. Brian Earl approximately 3:30 that afternoon, letting him know that the contractor never showed up. And he also indicated that he'll be there at 11 o'clock. About an hour later, about a half hour later, I received information, a text as well, also provided to you, that, hey, I'm running a little late. I'll be there in an hour. My response, absolutely not. Why? Because you initiated that you will be there at 11 o'clock. You contacted me around 3:30 indicating you'll be there in an hour, which will be 4:30, which also is the date of New Year's Eve, which I wanted to spend time with my family. Um, to wait for someone for 4.5 hours and you're telling me you're coming in an hour, that's not fair to me because
Okay,
I'm
Ms. Austin, in the interest of time, did they ever reach out again to have repairs done?
okay. So here we go. Another contact came through from LNI. Um, and
No,
yeah,
not through LNI. Did Ms.
um,
Emerson or Mr. Earl contact you and let you know that they were trying to have repairs done? And did you say yes?
no, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Lanai contacted me indicating that Emberly Jimerson called them and told them that I refused to let them in, which I already provided documentation of why did I refuse to let you in. I'm not letting you in a unit 5 hours after you assumed that you were going to be there. So that was the issue. Lanai indicated, and they also told Ebony Jimerson, listen, you can actually get it a certified mail. They told her, well, if you feel that way, have a certified letter show up to the door. That way you can agree to a time and a date when the repairs can get done.
So
So
any time after that date, was there any attempts to make repairs?
you talking to me?
Yes.
No, because I never received the certified mail indicating you need to get in the unit. If you're going to go to LNI and lie about me not letting you in the
Okay,
unit,
Ms. Austin,
and
that's
they
all we
say, hold
need.
on one second. If
Ms.
you're going to
Austin, we
go to
don't need
LNI,
anything else. Ms. Austin, we don't need anything else. That's all I needed to know.
I just
We
wanted
have
to
to
say
wrap
that.
this up because we have another hearing after this, and I still need to hear from Ms. Jimerson and Mr. Earl to wrap
But
up.
I wasn't finished.
We don't need anything else, Ms. Austin. Thank you.
So
Miss,
can I leave? I'm able to leave?
no, you have to stay until
Because I'm being cut off, but I'm being lied on. So how does that work?
we have all the information that we need from you. Anything else is extra. Ms. Jimerson or Mr. Earl, if you would like to wrap up your statement, and we're going to take a recess after that.
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. So yes, so anytime a tenant reached out to me and notified me of an issue with the unit, I made sure that a contractor came out either that day or that very next day to attend to
Another
what
line.
the issue was. And we made sure that those issues was taken care of.
So,
The next
Mr. Earl,
thing,
so that this doesn't go on, can you give me a specific time that you told Miss Austin that someone was coming and whether she allowed you into the unit or not?
yeah, every time I spoke with her and let her know what time that we were going to be there to get the issue fixed. I never had an issue with the tenant with getting inside the unit, getting it fixed in the beginning. Like again, I gave you the dates. The first issue was on April the 27th with the shower head and the heater that was taken care of on the 28th.
Right. So we don't have to go through that again because
Okay.
I'm just focused on let's do this. She said that you sent you were going to send a contractor on New Year's Eve, I believe she said.
Can I
All
speak
right,
to this just
that-
because I know the exact dates?
Okay, yes,
So
thank you.
just to speak about Jeffrey Eskew LLC, he is a licensed contractor, so that was the first false statement. Second,
Okay, and when did you tell her that he was coming?
I have told her on 5 occasions that he was coming.
Do you have the dates for those
Yes,
occasions?
I do. December 11th, December 16th, December 21st, January 3rd. And there may be more because I remember she blocked me, so I had to contact her from a business line. So those are just times that I've called and texted both of
And
those.
what was her response to those times?
Her response was, be blessed. I'm blocking you. You are a liar. All of the documents are being forwarded to my attorney. These are falsified documents. Good thing I have pictures of the lease. You're in violation. Do not call my phone. I'm working. You're weird. Stop calling around asking people that have no lies to me about me and my sister. My sister and I are totally different and we have no common interest whatsoever. And instead of buying time to work on those violations, it was an incomplete sentence. You put false documents on my little sister's door. This wasn't from it's just a lot.
Okay.
Just
All right. I think that we have what we need right now. So right now you all are going to see.
Not to cut you off, I just have one other thing I just need to address that's very
No, so the
important because it was
commissioners,
about me stepping down.
no, the
the
commission-
property.
Mr. Earl, we have everything that we need. We're
Okay.
going to ask you all to there should be a prompt on your screen to tell you to go to a breakout room. Do not leave until one of us has dismissed you. We're going to take a brief recess.
Okay.
please click join. You should see that option.
Hello?
I don't know who's saying hello. If it's Miss Jimerson, please click join. You should have an option to go in a different room. One second, please hold off. Okay. We're good to pause, please, Joe Maris. We're closing the rooms. Let's see. I don't know why it's doing this minute thing. It gives them a minute to close. I don't know why. It just needs to immediately close. Okay. I'm just gonna wait for it to close. Mr. Earl is back. I'm just gonna ask, Mr. Earl, if you can hear me, can you please unmute yourself and let me know?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I'm unmuted.
Just waiting on the other 2 people to join.
Okay.
There'll be a couple.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm in the office working and then, people's coming up to me. So I'm like, oh, I'm trying to, multitask here. And I just stepped into the conference room
You're fine.
so I can have a little peace and quietness. Yeah. Thank you. How's your day going?
It's going fine. The ladies should be back. So Miss Austin, if you're able to hear me, can you unmute yourself and just let me know, please?
I'm sorry. Y'all told me to go to the breakout room. I was the only one there.
Oh yeah, you were by yourself. That's okay.
Okay.
Yep. But obviously you can hear me. Miss Jimerson, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Okay, hi. Everyone's back, Commissioner Brunson, and we're recording. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So, and before I start this, you all get this in writing as well, but today we have listened to the evidence and we've concluded that all notices to vacate are invalid because the CRS has not been delivered. In that vein, you have to deliver a CRS to Miss Austin. And no rent is due until all of the LNI violations are closed and a CRS is delivered. Miss Austin, you have to give access to them to come in and make the repairs that are listed, specifically the ones that are on the LNI violations notice. Are there
Yes.
any questions?
I'm actually, am I able to talk?
Yes, you can go.
I'm actually in the process of moving.
Okay, but you are still in the unit right now.
Somewhat. I'm in the process of moving.
Ma'am, have you given keys back yet?
I'm in the process of moving.
No, it's okay, but if you still
No
have
keys were given back yet because I didn't finish
Okay.
moving my things out.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Ms. Jimerson, do you have any questions?
Yes, with her being in the process of moving, because this again is all news to me. She has not given We Win Realty.
I told Mr. Earl that
anything.
I didn't have to tell you that. I blocked
Okay,
you
so
once
we're
you lied about locks.
interrupting again, which is just making things take longer. So go ahead, Ms. Jimerson.
Yes, again, contact with Brian, who she said she wanted no
That's
contact.
fine. What was your question?
But what about the back rent that she owes in this if she is moving?
There's no back rent.
Ma'am,
Ms. Austin, please.
can you let me
So,
answer the
Ms.
question?
Jimerson, so
I'll mute my phone, but she's lying.
The rent that is due from the month of October to now that she has
so
refused.
Ms. Jimerson, so Ms. Jimerson.
Yes, I was saying that the reason
Okay,
why.
the order reads that because the CRS has not been delivered to Ms. Austin, that rent is not owed, and rent is not owed until that is delivered and the LNI violations are closed. Okay, so do you understand that?
Yes, I understand that, but with considering the circumstances that she's been denying us access for the last 3 months to repair the
That's true.
LNI violations, well, it's documented, to
That's
repair
not
the
true.
violations,
Okay.
and then I can't get the CRS.
I understand your frustration, but that is the order that we have come up with. And you all will get a written copy of that.
So in the meantime, what am I doing with her?
Closing the LNI violations and getting a certificate of rental suitability. If she denies you access, document. You have a right to access the property to make repairs. So
Exactly.
give
So,
24 hours notice and document the notice.
okay, so I would
Yep.
like to give 24-hour notice that there will be someone
writing.
visiting
Yes.
the unit
Writing.
tomorrow to make those repairs, Janita.
I'm gonna unblock.
Can you
I'm
give
gonna
it?
unblock. I will unblock
Okay.
you so I can see that.
Well, I'm
Thank
letting you know
Thank
now.
You all
No,
can leave
you'll
now.
be
Thank
unblocked.
you.
You'll be
Thank
unblocked.
you. This hearing is
Okay, we're
concluded. Thank
concluding and
you.
I'm removing people. Thank you.
This hearing is concluded. Thank you. You may all leave.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. Have a good day. Can we stop the recording?